In The Flash 2014 TV series during season 1, it's revealed that the Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, is stuck in the past after losing his connection to the Speed Force. This event is triggered when Thawne, who had traveled back in time to kill Barry Allen as a child, engages in a heated battle with a future version of Barry. In the struggle, Thawne's connection to the Speed Force is severed, leaving him trapped in a timeline where he no longer possesses the power to return to his original era. Desperate to restore his abilities and return to the future, Thawne disguises himself as Dr. Harrison Wells, a well-respected scientist at STR Labs. With calculated precision, Thawne manipulates events to orchestrate the creation of the Flash. The key to his plan is the construction of the particle accelerator. Thawne oversees every detail of the project, ensuring that the accelerator's explosion will mimic the conditions that first gave Barry Allen his powers. The moment of the particle accelerator's explosion is pivotal, as Barry is struck by lightning and doused in the powerful dark matter energy released by the device. Thawne watches with a mix of satisfaction and urgency, and it's the first step in his intricate plan to ensure that Barry becomes fast enough to tap into the Speed Force. Thawne's ultimate goal is to harness that speed, open a portal, and use it to return to his timeline. As the season progresses, the tension between Barry and Thawne builds to a breaking point. Thawne, while mentoring Barry under the guise of Dr. Wells, subtly pushes him to become faster and more adept at using his speed. Thawne is methodical, masking his true intentions behind a facade of care and support. Every interaction, every piece of advice is carefully calculated to advance Barry's speed, an outcome Thawne needs more than anything. The dynamic between Barry and Thawne becomes increasingly strained as Barry grows faster. During one intense training session, in the lab, Barry sprints around the track at incredible speeds, while Thawne, observing from the control room, smirks with concealed excitement. Barry, still unaware of the depth of Thawne's deception, pushes himself harder under the false encouragement of his mentor. As Barry achieves new milestones, Thawne begins to grow more impatient. In private moments, he paces back and forth in his secret lair, monitoring Barry's speed, data, and muttering to himself. It's not enough yet. I need him to be faster. His desperation builds, and so does his frustration. Thawne knows that any delay in Barry progression could ruin his chance of escaping the timeline, and he is running out of time. In one scene, Thawne enters the speed lab after hours, ensuring the building is empty. He stands before the particle accelerator, his fingers tracing the controls as he contemplates forcing another accident. He grits his teeth, feeling the loss of his own speed acutely. You should have been faster by now, he growls, his voice filled with venom as he slams his fist onto the console. He contemplates sabotaging Barry's future further, but refrains, knowing that the plan must be executed perfectly. Eventually, Barry begins to suspect that something isn't right with his mentor. During a confrontation with another metahuman, Barry narrowly escapes a trap that had been set for him. In the aftermath, he starts piecing together inconsistencies in Wells' advice and decisions. But he can't shake the trust he's developed for the man who has guided him. Thawne, sensing Barry, growing doubts, increases the pressure. One night, as Barry reflects on the strange series of events that have shaped his life recently, he is visited by the hologram of Gideon, the AA system housed in the hidden time vault. The AI reveals a startling truth to Barry. Dr. Wells is not who he claims to be. He is Eobard Thawne, also known as the Reverse Flash. Barry is devastated by the revelation, and the truth shakes him to his core. The man he trusted, the man who helped him become the Flash, is the same man who has been orchestrating events behind the scenes for his own selfish gain. Determined to confront Thawne, Barry rushes back to STR Labs. However, Thawne anticipates Barry's actions. As Barry bursts into the time vault, Thawne reveals his true identity, peeling back the layers of his disguise. His eyes glow with malicious satisfaction as he drops the pretense of being Dr. Wells. You were always a means to an end, Barry, Thawne sneers, his voice dripping with condescension. Everything I did, every bit of advice I gave you was to make you faster. I needed you to become fast enough to open the Speed Force so I can go home. Enraged, Barry lunges at Thawne, but even without his full connection to the Speed Force, Thawne is still formidable. The two speedsters clash in a dizzying display of super-speed combat, racing through the halls of STR Labs, their punches sending shockwaves through the building. Barry, fueled by his emotions, tries to gain the upper hand, but Thon's experience and cunning keep him one step ahead. In one electrifying moment, Barry gains the upper hand, pinning Thon against the wall. "You use me!" Barry yells, his fists trembling with fury. Thon smirks, blood dripping from a cut on his lip. "And you were so easy to manipulate, Barry," he says, his voice calm despite the chaos. "You were so desperate for a mentor. Or for a father figure. I gave you everything you wanted." Barry's anger reaches a boiling point, and he winds up to deliver the final blow. But before he can strike, Thon triggers a hidden failsafe. The entire lab is plunged into darkness, and the ground beneath them begins to rumble. "You can't stop me," Thon says, his voice echoing through the lab as he slips away into the shadows. "I will always be one step ahead," as the lab shakes, and sparks fly from the damaged consoles. Barry struggles to regain his composure. He knows that Thon's plan is far from over, and the battle between them is only beginning. Thon has meticulously laid the groundwork for his escape, and now Barry must outthink the man who has been controlling his life from the very start. The season builds toward the climactic final showdown, where Barry must race faster than he ever has before to stop Thon from achieving his goal. In the ultimate test of speed and will, Barry finally manages to open the Speed Force, but instead of allowing Thon to escape, he turns the tables. Using his newfound mastery of the Speed Force, Barry traps Thon in a time loop, imprisoning him in a pocket of the Speed Force for eternity. Though victorious, Barry is left to grapple with the emotional toll of the betrayal. The man he thought was his mentor was his greatest enemy all along, and the scars from that deception would haunt him long after the battle was over. The final scene shows Barry standing alone in the remnants of STR Labs, his eyes fixed on the shattered remains of the accelerator. He knows that while Thon may be defeated, the threats from the Speed Force and beyond are far from over, and his journey as the Flash has only just begun.